Hey everyone, it's Patty from pspapercrafts. Thanks so much for joining me. Happy Friday if you're watching this on the day I made it. Today we're going to make a Dutch door fun fold, and we're using the Abundant Beauty decorative masks. So it's a little bit different because we're going outside of the door. The masks are amazing. I really love them. So I'm following along with my inspiration calendar. I send this out to my email list every month with a month full, and I try to do the Friday fun folds and the Thursday color combos as cards, and then I usually do a sketch on Saturday. And you know, there's just different ideas here. So if you want to get a copy of this each month, just subscribe to my email list. There's a link below and you can get that. I'll also have a link with a project sheet with how to make this style card. And I just love it. I think the flowers are so pretty. And let me show you the masks. So they're called Abundant Beauty decorative masks, and let me just pull them out because you get a nice little variety, but I love the sunflower one. So the sunflower consists of 4. So there's the flower, there's the leaves, there's this center, and then there's just a kind of a circle that you can use. I wanted the white, so if you use this, whatever's white here would be that color. So these are 4 that go together to make this. And then you have kind of some background, which I have used this. This is leaves. I'm hoping you can see them. How's that? And you can do different colors or all one color. And then there's this, I think they called it argyle. I think it's like a houndstooth. Then I heard that it was, what did somebody say? There were bats or cats? I don't know. And then there's the snowflakes. So these are great for using your blend-in brushes and just making a nice background. But we're going to stick with the flower. So just something to note, there's a little notch. So you want the notch on each of these to be in the same place, so you know that they're lining up. So see this notch? There's a 1. There's a, they're actually numbered. This is 3, this is 4. So this is the order you would do it in. The leaves are 2. So you would do it, you would make sure that you're lining up this notch at the top left for each one. So let's get started with it. We're going, of course, to use different colors and a different designer series paper. So let me just quick, this is Blackberry Bliss and Crushed Curry and Mossy Meadow that I use for this, but I'll have all the instructions. And I did get the designer series paper from the Inked Botanicals, but you can use really any kind of paper that you want. On today's card, we're going to be using Calypso Coral for our base, and then we have this piece, which will be kind of for the front, and you can put this also on the inside layer if you wanted to. I thought it was a bit much. I kind of like the white back there, but you can do that. We're going to use Calypso Coral, Garden Green, and Early Espresso for the center. So let's get started. The way I'm doing this actually is I'm going to fussy cut them out. So I'm going to do them as if you were doing them for a card front, but I'm going to fussy cut them out. So let's get a card front going. Actually, I'm going to do a bigger piece because I want the full leaves. So if you're doing, this would be your 4 by 5 1/4. If you're doing that, you get your flowers there, but the leaves will kind of hang off, right? So here's one that I did yesterday. So you're not getting the full leaf. So I'm going to go a little bit bigger, or what you can do, and let's do it that way. When I made this, I just used a little scrap and did the leaves separately on this. But I want to show you how it works, so I'll do it. I'll do it on a bigger sheet. So just know if you're doing this size, you're going to lose part of your leaves. So I know, I'm probably confusing you. So let's do that and then we'll make the card base. So I am going to just put this down. And again, this is an oversized piece of white, basic white. And I'm just going to get, you can use washi tape. I have this Post-it tape that I use for my die cutting. And you want to make sure that you have this down. So as you're blending, you're not moving this around. And you could put one on the bottom as well, but I like to lift and look. So first thing we're going to do is the Calypso Coral. So I'm going to get my blending brush, and I know it doesn't look good because I think I used a brown in there. I try to keep them, but you can look, right? You're seeing that there's nothing coming off, maybe a tiny bit of brown. You can wash these underwater, but I heard someone say if you keep a different brush for each of your colors, you can, it'll hold the ink in it and it just inks up easier, faster. So I probably need to get some more of these, but I think it'll work. And I'm just going to test it out. So there's your Calypso Coral. And you can go darker in the middle and then lighter on the outside. So you're just going to go like this. And you don't really even have to press. And you're just going to add some color. And you can keep adding color. But if you want to press in the middle so it's a little darker, it's easy to do on this big one. Once you get to these, it's hard to get the middle darker because they're small. So we're just going to go, and it's such a beautiful look when you lift up the mask. And these wash right off. I'll show you when I'm done. You can run them underwater, but you can just use your chamois to clean them off as well. So we'll just go around. So let's see the magic of it. You lift it up. Isn't that beautiful? I love it. So we're just going to pull this off, close this up, and we'll do the leaves. And then we'll do the centers. And then I'm going to add some more leaves. So we want to get the next one. Whoops, we don't want the snowflakes. We want the leaves. Here it is. I put it over on the side. So again, you want this notch up here. And you can see right through it, so you can kind of place it. I mean, it doesn't really matter to me because I'm going to fussy cut it out, but you want to just move it around so that you can get the leaves where you want them. I don't even want this leaf, so I'm not going to do this. I want two of them, so I'm probably going to move it and do a second one and just one of these. And that's what I did here. I have two of the big and one of the small. So we're just going to put this down. I'm going to get my green brush, and I'm using Garden Green for this one. And I like to just give it a little test over there. And we'll just go right like this. And I like to hold this so it doesn't shift. And we'll do this one. And you look like you're going over the flowers, but the mask is there, so you're all covered. Just do a little bit more here. Okay, and voila, beautiful, right? So I'm going to do another one here because again, I'm fussy cutting these out, and these are easy to cut. So we'll just do this. And I was thinking I would do the early espresso, but now I'm thinking maybe I want to do the crushed curry in the middle. What do you think? Early espresso or crushed curry? I think I'm going to go with the crushed curry, so let me get that. Okay, so I have my crushed curry. So again, I'm not going to use this. This would be the next one you would do if you wanted that, but I do like just the white here. And then you would do this one. So we're going to skip that and go with this. And this one you kind of have to play around with. It doesn't completely, you're going to see some of the petal in it. So I think that's good. Let me get my little piece of Post-it tape. And let me get my think I have a, yeah, I have the crushed curry one. So we're going to do this. And just right in here. And I think this is a great kind of fall card. This one we're going to make happy birthday. Let's take a peek. That's pretty, right? I love Calypso coral. I always forget to use it. And then I'm always pleased when I do. So we have our flowers, and what we're going to do now is fussy cut. So I will speed this up to get this going. So I just have my paper snips, and I'm going to cut it around it, kind of, and I'll save this for scrap. It'll make it easier to work with. Okay, so I'm just going to go in and just cut, leaving a little bit of white around each petal and each leaf. Okay, so we're done with our fussy cutting, and some of it got bent a little bit, but let me just get my bone folder and kind of straighten them out. And you can look and see if there's any points that you want to trim up, but I think it looks good. Let me just do this one. So it's very easy to fussy cut. Let me just go in here a little bit. You just have to give it a little bit of time. And just kind of straighten it up. Okay, so I was so excited to show you the basques that I didn't even show you the card base yet, but we'll get there. So for this one, this designer series paper is from the mini catalog, and it's called a Garden Walk designer series paper. And it's really pretty. It has some really fun patterns. So there's Christmas, but then there's just flowers. Isn't that pretty? You know me, I love flowers, so this is right up my alley. And the Calypso coral is nice. So this comes, there's a stamp set as well, the Modern Garden, and we're going to use It's Your Birthday and Best Wishes for a Fun-Filled Future Together. There's these gorgeous pearls. They're really pretty. Blooming pearls, they're called. And then there's also a ribbon, Calypso coral, which we're not going to use this. We will use the stamp set and the pearls and the paper. So we have our Calypso coral base, and this is the 4 1/4. Sorry, 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and we're going to score it at 4 1/4. So let's get our trimmer out, and we're going to just score it at 4 1/4. And then what we're going to do is we're going to turn it, and we want to cut, we want to measure at 2 3/4, and we want to cut from this score line up, and that creates the door. So you want to either come down or up. So I'm going to I don't know if you can see it, but on the side there's also the measurements, the inches. So we're going to do 2 3/4, and then we're going to go right, there's a line here, we're going to line it up right on the line and go up, and then we're going to go this way because we want to cut off this top piece, and we're going to go from here right up, and I like to just pull it a little bit. There we go. So we got it. All right, so now we have our pieces for our Dutch door. So this is the Dutch door, and this is the piece that goes like this. Okay, so we're going to get a piece of basic white, and again I'll have all the measurements on my the project sheet below here, and we want to adhere this together. But first let's stamp the sentiment. So on this one I did Thinking of You. I thought this was a good Thinking of You card. I have somebody in mind to send that to, and let's do our stamping. I think I will do it in the Calypso Coral or Garden Green. I think I'll do Calypso Coral, and we'll do Happy Birthday, and I'm just going to put it toward the bottom, or It's Your Birthday. So we want to do this, and just let's give it a test run. Looks good. We'll just do it right here, and then we'll build our flowers above it. And then the other thing we want to do is this designer series paper is going to come across here. Okay, so let's do those first. We'll adhere this to the cut-off piece and adhere this to the bottom, the door. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so we're just going to put this right here. We just want to center it, top and bottom, side to side. And then this one we want to put right on this door piece, or the top part of it. Right like this. Okay. And then we're going to build our flowers. So let's get our flowers and kind of lay them out how we want them. And I popped up these two, and then this one is down flat along with the leaves. So I think it's just bright and cheery. So if we put a leaf down here, we want to make sure it's not going to go over. So you just kind of want to place things and figure it out. Okay, I think that will work. So let's start by putting this down, and I'm not going to go all the way to the top. I don't want any glue hanging off the side of this, so I'm going to just put it toward the bottom. And put it right under here. Okay, and then let's pop these up. So what I like to do is put some dimensionals toward the middle so that I can slip the leaves behind it. So I'm going to put 3 dimensionals right in the middle, and that gives me room around it to slip the leaves under it. So we'll put this one right about here, and then we'll do the same with this. We'll put a couple of dimensionals sort of in the middle of it. And if the leaves don't fit, you could always trim them down here so that they fit nicely. Nobody's going to see it. It's underneath the flower, right? Isn't that pretty? So now we'll just put a little bit of glue here and slip it underneath. We could play with it a little bit, pull it out, and then we'll do the same thing here. Just a little bit, a little dab will do ya. And then we want one leaf, but we want to make sure it's not going to go over this. So there's plenty of room. And again, you want to make sure that you have you don't put the glue at the top. So just put it at the bottom, because you don't want the top to glue to the back. And we'll just slip it right under here. Make sure there's no glue hanging off the back. Not pretty. So now what we want to do is glue this to the front, but we do not want to have any glue up here. So I like to hold it like this and glue below my fingers to make sure I have a good idea of where to go. And this glue is very strong, so you don't have to worry about it. So you want to make sure this is straight and centered. Oop, it's a little slick, right? Okay. So I did the same little small flower in there, and I think I'll do the same thing. So let's get rid of these and bring back our masks. So I have an inside layer. And the thing with this card is you do have to be careful about where you stamp. You don't want to stamp or even write, you know, to so-and-so up here. When you're making it out, you want to kind of keep it down here. You can fill in over here, but you don't want to go in this area, because when you close it, you're going to see the writing. So just something to keep in mind. But let's get this on, and let's get our masks back out. So this is the center. I didn't do a leaf, but I'm going to do just this one. So I'm going to put it down here, right in this corner. I'm going to tape it up here, and then I'll take some Post-it notes, because I don't want to get ink over here. So what I did was I just took a Post-it note. Somebody gave me this. Isn't it cute? They made it years ago. And I'm just going to tear it, and I'm going to put one piece up here to cover this. I'm not going to go all the way up here, but I just, you know, this is a little bit close. And then I'll take my blending brush and my Calypso coral, and we'll just add some color. Okay, put this away. And then we'll get our crushed curry. And I don't need these for the next step, I don't believe. Let me check and make sure. Here it is. So it's this one, right? So I'm not going to go up here, so I only have to just kind of stick it down. I don't have to cover these, because I won't go up there. And then we'll take our blending brush for the yellow and just go right in here. There we go. That's a little bit darker. I guess I went a little bit darker on that, but that's okay. That's how it would look in the fall. You can do a leaf down here. I think it's fine without it. And then I'm going to put the sentiment. I have that. I'll do that in Calypso coral as well. And I'm going to put it down on the, it is kind of a long sentiment. I'm just looking to see how it will fit. I think it'll be okay. So we're not going to put it too high. We'll put it down here. So when you're writing this, you're going to write up here to so-and-so and write your writing down here. Now you could decorate around here. I thought of leaves, but I think it would be too busy. I think this is good enough. Okay, let's put this down with some, where do I have it? My stamp and seal. But aren't these masks great? I can't wait to use the snowflake one. I think that's going to be great for a winter card. So we'll just center this, close this up, and let's put some of this pretty bling on. I haven't even opened this yet. I just got this suite, so I'm eager to play with it. And I was looking for kind of plain, you know, pattern paper, and we always have that. You know, a lot of times the one side is floral, or, you know, animals or whatever it is. And then what I call the B side is just kind of plain patterns. So it looks like we have, I think this is gold, petal pink, pretty peacock, and I think this might be the garden green. So we're going to go with the garden green, and I'm going to do just what I did here, the big, whoops, maybe I won't because it's a different look. And this little guy here, and then we'll put one right down here. Okay, so these are the two cards. They're called a Dutch fold or Dutch door fold card, and then with the masks. I hope you enjoyed this, and come back next Friday. And again, if you want to get this monthly inspiration calendar, just sign up for my newsletter, or my not my newsletter, my email list. And I don't send out too much. I send out emails for my card classes, for specials from Stampin' Up, and then I do a weekly kind of roundup. But then once a month I'll send out the calendar. Thanks so much for joining me. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up, and if you want to subscribe, if you haven't, I'd love to have you. Thanks. Bye.